Working on my DR here. Pulled the side covers and the seat off. That's super easy. And then the intake. That was just one screw, and then 3 10 mils, 2 on top, and then 1 on the other side. And 2 12s. Ripped that shock right out of there. Super easy thus far. We're gonna shove it back in there, and then we're gonna work on the front. We got some more work to do to this old pig. Some stuff I always wanted to do. Never had the time or the money. Okay, I'm out here. Just doing a little test drive. I got that rear shock on. And I got the side cover on this side, but not on this side. It came with a tool, and I'm trying to adjust preload. You know, I don't know exactly what I'm doing. It doesn't seem like it makes a terrible difference either way. Turned it a few direct times each way, and really didn't do a whole lot. Changed the oil real quick. Just a 14mm bolt in the bottom, and I have this little side wing I'm painting just to make it look a little bit better. But I threw that shock in there. The hardest part was getting, ooh, that's hot, the boot on the carburetor. And I think it was off for a little bit because there was a lot of dirt on there. I think it was like some of the weight coming off of there, and that's not good. So it was a pain in the ass. I had to put the plenum on first and then put the second half on there, which sucked entirely. That was the hardest part about the whole shock install. So the rear cover is going to go on. I didn't pack a helmet, and I'm wearing shorts, but it's fine. Just had a little cruise. This is 7 miles of this right here, so I'm just gonna go to the gas station and grab a drink, and then go back and maybe start on the front. Throw the rear cover on, tighten these mirrors up. They were loose down in Tennessee, but it seems to be running fine. Front end's a little washy. I'm probably just gonna drop the front tire pressure down real quick and then continue on my way. Okay, I got the front up in the air here. I loosened these bolts here on the top clamp and loosened the cap in that order. Same here. Next, I'm going to remove the front wheel. It's a couple pinch bolts in the axle. It's easy. And then I'm going to loosen these and then pull each fork out. Before I start, I'm going to run to the store real quick. I was going to use this for like a 2-stroke measuring, but nothing. This measures pints, cc's, and fluid ounces. I need something that measures milliliters, and I don't have anything that measures that because it takes, I think, 600 milliliters. When you open up this box that has the DDCs in there, you get these instructions, and it is pretty straightforward. So basically, fork comes out, pull the washer spacers out, then the spring, dump it, basically jerk the shock off, squeeze it, compress it, get all the fluid out, turn it upside down, let it sit, get everything out of it, and then you fill it with a little bit, jerk it off again so the fluid comes through it, and then with the fork all the way down, you put 600 milliliters total in there approximately, or you measure 130 millimeters from the top, and then you put everything in there. You pull the shock tall, and then if you have the correct Kojin springs with the entire kit, you should be able to use the factory spacer, and with the spring, with the shock all the way up, there should be about 7 to 10 millimeters, so basically about 8 millimeters of spacer sticking above the top of the shock, and that's your preload. So then when you shove that down and stick the cap on there, that's your 8 millimeters of preload, and then you shove it all back together reverse, and that's how it installs. So I'm gonna run to the store. Should probably grab something that measures in millimeters. This centimeters. Maybe I'll swing by Harbor Freight and see what they got. Front wheel comes off easy. You just need to take those 4 10 millimeters loose, and then a 19 mil, pull the axle. Then loosen these up, pulled the fork out, but first I loosened up the caliper with 2 12s there and there, And I got the fork out, and I just took the cap off, and you can see the protrusion a little bit. So I think it might just be sagging a little bit. It seems a little cocked. So I'm gonna dump this out. Also, this is the side that had an inspection sticker on it, and it doesn't want to slide through this guy. So I lost the inspection sticker, but it also said 2018 on there, so, you know, didn't really hurt nothing. So I'm gonna dump this out, get the other one off, dump that, and then see what I can do about it. All right, so I'm filling up these forks here, and I put 300 milliliters in there with this thing and that fork oil, and I pumped it up till the bubble stopped coming out. Then I stuck another 300 milliliters in there, and it's supposed to take approximately 600 milliliters. If you can see the fluid in there, but from the top of the fluid to the top of this is supposed to be 130 millimeters. Well, I didn't have anything that measured in millimeters, and I found out that 1 centimeter equals 10 millimeters. My school system failed me. I honestly could say I learned not a damn thing from school. So 13 centimeters is 130 millimeters. Wouldn't you know? So I set this thing right at 13 millimeters or centimeters, and I locked it in, and that equaled 130 millimeters, and that was about how much I overfilled it. I went right to the 300, but this is a cheap cup, so maybe that's the difference I was seeing. So now I'm going to take the tool with the cartridge and put it in there. And it's just magnetic, like that. The nylon nut side goes down, and then we're gonna shove the spring in over top of that, and then we're gonna pull the fork up, put the spacer, the washer and the spacer in there, and make sure that the spacer is sticking no more than 10 millimeters above it, so somewhere between 7 and 10 millimeters, which 10 millimeters, make sure it's no more than 1 centimeter above it. Ain't that something? Who would have known? So I'm gonna continue with this. Now, I'm no scientist, but that looks like it's the right height. That's pretty crazy. I'd get the right springs for the right shock and the cartridges, and we're gonna put this back together. We're gonna put the oh, it's falling down. I'm gonna put the preload cap on there. Okay, wheel on, forks are in but loose. I never touched these, so they bottom right up to the bottom of this, and then the cap before protruded just a little bit, and then that's a factory alignment mark, so that's pretty good. So everything's loose. I'm gonna lower it. I'm gonna grab the front brake and try and compress the front to get everything all situated in there, and then I'm gonna tighten the axle, the pinch bolts, and then the fork, and I'm gonna go for a ride. Well, I got it back home and went on a little ride, 94 miles. I'd say minimum 75 of those miles were gravel roads and fire roads and stuff like that. I did do track bed for a little bit, just a little loop around where I live, and it felt great. I'm probably gonna have to do more of tire pressure adjustments. I have a couple other things I'm gonna do. I think I'd like to do something about these. They're not that grippy. I think I kind of wore them down a little bit too. I'd like to go get it inspected. So there might be a little bit more to this video. Okay, just a lazy Memorial Day. Got this Rockville Rock and Ride system. I only installed one of these speakers. It's not really, I mean, I could, but gonna get in the way of everything, and you know, there's no real benefit. I plugged it in, plugged it out. I tested it, and it's a little bit louder. I didn't get to drive with it. Kit's super easy. Ran a power wire and a ground wire to a battery, and then there's like a aux cable, and this you can mount on the handlebar, but I don't think it'd be waterproof. It has a little mount for it, but I don't like it. This has Bluetooth that pairs right to this, volume, play, skip, all that stuff. Stay. But I have like my battery tender in there too. That's like a phone charger, and then you unplug it and then it goes to the battery tender that's on the wall. But this thing works pretty good with one speaker under about 45, and then like 45 to like 55 is like and anything over 55 is like noise. But there's an extra bundle of wires that is tucked back in here behind the massive pile of headlight wires that are factory. That is there's like a USB in there, and the other plug for the other speaker. I mean, maybe I'll put the other speaker on one day, but I'd probably want to relocate the Speedo or something, or maybe do something different with it. Maybe I could build better mounts. Maybe I could put the other one up in here. I don't know. I just think it would look goofy. But people are concerned about weight and stuff on dirt bikes and stuff, but that's not much heavy, and adding one more wouldn't be that much heavier anyway. But everything I have has sound. This is nothing compared to the Rockford system that's on my my Harley and my Street Glide, and then the BRP system on my Sea-Doo is pretty good too, which would be awesome if they built mounts to put that on other stuff, like universal stuff, how that thing clips in. That thing's a nice unit. But yeah, that's that.